Hey class, Alec here. Last time we looked at one side, consumer surplus, one side of the welfare coin, and today we're going to look at producer surplus, the other side of that welfare coin. Now, welfare theory is just, as I spoke about last time, is Kenneth Arrow's theory to better understand how competitive markets will yield optimum or efficient outcomes. So producer surplus, now think sellers, the difference between what producers are willing and able to sell it at, as revealed by the supply curve, and what they can sell it at, as dictated by the market price. It is a measure of the net benefits to sellers. We're going to look at the same market that we had last time, the market for textbooks, economics textbooks. We're going to have the same five participants. Now I've arrayed these participants, and let's assume both Beth and Joe were able to acquire the book somehow. Um, as we looked last time, we showed that the value, they were low valued users, therefore they weren't going to purchase the book at a $30 price. Maybe they bought a used textbook or got it from their brother or sister. Nevertheless, let's assume both Beth and Joe, low valued users, acquired the book, and now they are going to be low opportunity cost sellers. So I've arrayed our five students in ascending order. Beth, as you recall, she wasn't interested in the class. She had to take it for 3 credits. Now she's not interested in keeping the book. You can see that we can plot it right here. If somebody, now we're looking at this, and let me elaborate on that second column. Beth, if somebody gave Beth $10, this is the minimum acceptable price to Beth, she would sell that book. If somebody offered Joe at least $20, he would sell that book. So we can plot Joe right there. Sue, she says she would get rid of the book if somebody paid her $30. Now remember, Bob was a high valued user. He was the highest valued user. He loves economics. He thinks he's going to keep the book to help him in future economics courses or in life in general. We can pull out Mary right here. And then lastly, here is Bob right there. I've taken the five students. Now we can connect the five dots, and this is our supply curve at time period 1. Okay, now let's pause it again as we did last time. Let's have a market price. That's my dog in the background. And let's say the price in the market is equal to, his name is Otis, by the way, is $30. So the question for you is, does Beth sell the textbook? Okay, she says to herself, I'm going to go to uh, the bookstore, and if I find out they're going to give me $10, I'll sell this book. But they find out the textbook, the bookstore is going to give her $30. And you can see that rectangle there is a measure of the total benefits, the $30 that the bookstore is willing to sell it to her. And then we can say, now wait a minute, this area right here is the producer surplus of Beth is equal to $20. She's willing and able to sell the textbook back for $10. The bookstore gives her $30. This is $20 more than she expected or wanted to receive, and she's very happy. Does Joe sell the textbook back? Well, he can sell it for $30, and you can see here. And the quick answer is yes, because he receives producer surplus here of $10. Now, does Sue sell the textbook back? The least acceptable price for her is $30. She gets $30. She has $0 in producer surplus. So now we can look at producer surplus is the area bounded above the supply curve but below the price. And I've got producer surplus in this example is equal to $20 plus $10 plus $0 is equal to $30. Okay, does everybody understand that? It's $20, $10, and $0. The question now is, Let's look at Bob. He's the eager student who now wants to become an economist. God bless him. And he says that if they gave me $50, then I'd sell the book. Well, the bookstore's not going to give him $50. Does he sell the book? Well, the answer is no. Okay, his minimum acceptable price is $50, and we're talking about this point right here. Bob says no, and the same for Mary. She says no. So in our model, you can see that the producer surplus is the net benefits to the three students who sold their books is can be measured as $30. Now let's ask ourselves, why do producers, like higher prices? We can start off with producer surplus. In this case, for P1 Q1 combination, it's going to be this rectangle right there. Watch what happens when the price goes up to P2. Of course, we're going to get a new, let's just go like that. We're going to get a new price and quantity combination. Here is Q2. And now we can see, I'm going to go purple here. We can see that producer surplus expands. This is the purple now is the producer surplus at time period 2. It can be decomposed into two parts. It's a trapezoid on top of that triangle, yes, here, that has A and B. What is A? A is the additional producer surplus to the original transactors, to the original sellers. We're stuck at Q1, but now each and every person in Q1 gets more producer surplus. As you raise the price, however, which we've done, you increase the quantity supplied. So B, this box out here to the right now, the triangle, is the producer surplus to additional sellers, people who weren't going to sell it at Q1 but are now willing and able to sell it at, they weren't willing and able to sell it at P1 but are now willing and able to sell it at P2. So producer surplus at time period 2 is equal to the original producer surplus, PS subscript 1, and A and B. Producers like higher prices because the net benefits to producers or sellers increases. We'll put the two curves together next on our next lecture. Thanks. Bye.